And I read somewhere that you kind of considered yourself almost an outcast amongst outcasts during that point in your life. And, I'm curious why that was. Like, is it just as simple as every culture has cliques and for whatever reason you just weren't in that clique? Or do you think it was something deeper? Was it jealousy? Or, it must have been a really hard point in your life. Like, what was that all about?
Well, I'd say there are a few iterations of that, but for the most part, when I started skating, I was really small and really scrawny, and that was the Dogtown and Z-Boys era. So it was all about flow and style, and those guys were men, and they could muscle their way into the air and lay back and do these things, and I was just like this little pixie that was barely reaching the top of the bowl, so I didn't have the style, I didn't have the speed. So I just started doing tricks. And because I did tricks, that was considered lame. I was a circus act. That's literally what they would say. Like I did circus tricks or baton twirls. And so I found this activity, sport, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, that I felt spoke to me so deeply, and I wanted to chase to as far as I could. But I was not accepted within the world of it, and the world of it was already considered outcast-like. It was a bubble for misfits, and so I'm in that bubble, and I'm not accepted. So that was really isolating. And then later on, as I started to have more success, then I was isolated because I was the top competitor, and people were very critical of that. And also in a lot of ways, they want to tear you down when you have big success. That's the goal, right? That's the reason we have tabloids. So, yeah. So they would, I was getting judged extremely critically, for my performances, and even though I still loved doing it, it started to suck the fun out of it because there was so much pressure on me. And then I felt like an outcast because of that. Like I felt like an outcast when I reached the top of the mountain. And so, but all those things kind of helped me to develop who I became, because I didn't listen to the haters. And then in later years, when I had even bigger success, I was already steeled for that kind of criticism and for being called a sellout or whatever it is, or haters on social media. I was like, you guys can't get to me. I've already lived through this with people saying it to my face and in the magazines.